Hey everybody, what's happening? Chris Birch here, Entrepreneur Strategies. Just wanted to jump on here today. As you all know, I'm a entrepreneur, business owner. I own a print and marketing company. Also do some real estate, and I'm also now sharing a lot of that information with my family here on YouTube. And for the last couple months, we've all been stuck at home. COVID, and business is slow and you can't go anywhere, nothing's open. I've been doing a lot of research, reading, with stocks, with investing, with exactly how, as an entrepreneur, how you're able to diversify what you're doing. So let's get started right now. All right, so welcome everybody. What I wanted to do first, as you see right here on the screen, stock charts. There are four specific stocks that I wanted to go over. I will let you all know I am not a financial advisor. I do not do any type of stock recommendations. This is strictly sharing some of the things, some of the tools that I've used in the research that I've been doing over the last couple months. So without anything else, let's start with the first one. Let's see. And it is AMC, the movie company. You guys know who AMC is, right? As far as I know, they're a national brand, technically an international brand of movie houses. And as we've all been stuck at home for the last 7 or 8 months, they haven't been doing that well. But I thought about it when I heard back in, I guess it was the middle part of June, where they were starting in certain states, they were starting to roll out the social distancing plans, where AMC made an announcement that they were actually going to start doing very inexpensive movie prices. In exchange, they would be they're hoping to sell the concessions, which is where the movie house really makes their money. So I went back and looked at AMC, and I'm going to share my screen with you all. So AMC Entertainment Holdings, as you see here, common stock. This graph that I have here is the 5-year outlook. So if you go back to, this is 2017, you see how high they were, and you see it come down. 19, it comes back up, and it's been dipping and dropping. So even if you looked at the 3-year, it's still doing the same thing, but you have these little spikes, right? So back on, what was it, August 13th of this year, August 13th of 2020, I actually picked up AMC stock for $1.95 a share. And my inkling was, if you look on this chart here, in the last 52 weeks, right? In those 52 weeks, it's between $1.95, which is exactly where I bought it, and $10.35. So my thought was, if I bought enough of those shares to, let's say you bought 100 shares, it changes by $1, that's a $100 profit. Let's say it changes by $5. So that's in the middle, in between 2 and 10. At $5, you would be making $500 if you had just bought 100 shares at $1.95. So if you look at their overall from this past Friday, which would have been October 30th of 2020, it's currently trading here at $2.36. So let me close that and then show you back here on AMC, where I have it highlighted at the top. I bought 875 shares. At the time, this is the most recent order that I did. It was $5.72. And then just not even 3 weeks later, on September 4th, right here, I sold it for $6.59 with a gain, a profit of 700, and let me zoom in. Let me see. No, it won't let me. But hopefully you guys can see that clear, that I sold it at $6.95 with a profit of $761. So with that being said, for me, taking something as small as a few $100 investment, and then within 3 weeks, roughly, August the 13th to September 4th, not that much time, I was actually able to gain $761. So the next one I wanted to share is, the next one I wanted to share is MGM. MGM, as you all know, international resorts, casinos, all sorts of stuff. MGM shares have for the most part, MGM shares over the long term have always done fairly well. So I will show you on the MGM shares, MGM International Hotels, Resorts, the 52-week range was between $5.90 and $34. So I bought MGM actually back the end of June 23rd to be specific, and I bought it at $18, which was $5.90, or let's call it $6 and $35. 18 was right around the median range. And once again, because of the time of year, because of the climate we're in with COVID, I really felt that that's a good buy, because even if it gained a few dollars per share, it would still show a yield. So for me, it was short term. And let's look at MGM here. So if you look at the chart, I bought it on the 24th at $18. I bought 273 shares. And then I sold it just over a month later on August the 10th at $22.41 a share, which left a gain of $1,206. Now, I will say this is from my own experience. This is from looking at stuff that I would normally participate in, whether it be a casino or some form of financial or the movie theater. So I was trying to be practical about it. Once again, I'm not a stock advisor. I just wanted to share some things that I've been doing. And it's pretty simple if you look at it from that perspective, that, certain things make sense to me, might not make sense to others. One of those being the next one, which is Square. Now, if you guys know business, if you're in any form of business, whether it be a mom and pop side hustle or your actual business, Square has the potential, I think personally, to be about a $200 a share stock. Square processing for me personally, in my regular business, the print business, Square has been a lifesaver. The reason being is with Square, I can process anywhere. I don't have to have a physical point of purchase display like I have at our place of business, because people aren't coming in the business because they're stuck at home. They're not ordering whatever, have you. But what's great about Square is it's a mobile app. I can swipe it on my phone. I can key in the entries if I want to. So let's look at the Square stock on Square. So if we look at Square in general, the range for Square has been between $32 and $193, if you see there. So when I bought Square, I bought that back in July. And let me show you on my chart. If you look at Square, I bought a total of 27 shares at an average price of between $180 and $183. And then, so I bought that in July, the first 19 shares. Then I bought 8 more in September. So I bought the original, at $126. And then I bought again at $155. Sold them both, sold the first one at 180 and sold the second batch of Square shares at 183. And if you look here, for a total, $1,248 in just what? September. So we got July, August, September, October. So like 90 days, 90 days for $1,200 yield or gain. I don't consider that bad at all. The overall potential of what I've been looking at is stuff that just makes sense to me. And the next one is a little bit not in my portfolio of what I would normally look at. But with all the talk this summer of the immense, the sheer volume, the sheer volume of Tesla, everybody's talking about Tesla. I started doing my own due diligence, trying to figure out with the electronic vehicle industry, were there other players? I assumed there were, so I started researching. I found this company right here, Workhorse. Workhorse is actually projected. Projected meaning there's articles that have been coming out that the United States Post Office is going to be awarding a contract the end of 2020. It was originally, I think, slated for October. That didn't happen. But it's now been slated for the end of this year to purchase all new electronic driven postal trucks, the mail delivery trucks. And Workhorse is one of the folks at the forefront of potentially gaining this contract. They actually bought one of GM's facility in Ohio that GM was no longer using. I believe was going to give up their renewal, but before the end of this year. So they went in and started negotiating to take over, operations of this facility. And let's take a look at Workhorse. I actually still own some shares, but let's take a look at the shares that I currently have sold. Let's go to Workhorse right here. So you see initially, I invested late August into September and was able to actually on the, let's see. So I bought one share at $17 and then I bought 147 shares at $28, which was kind of high, But, if you look at where Workhorse has been, it's down right now. But if you just look at the 1 year, look at this chart. This is just back in June. And then July, it spiked, dropped a little bit. And then in late September, it really spiked again. So it's been in the last 12 months, the last 52 weeks, it's been in between $1.32 and almost $31. That's a huge range. And that's why if you looked at where I was buying, I think the 28 was a little high, but 18, 17, 27. So, kind of gives you a range of the potential. So because this is all averaged, in a sense, I invested, $6,200 or $6,250. And I pulled out 73.13. So it's $1,137. And if you see here, there's that one that I accidentally paid too much for, or a little bit too much for. So I lost $74 on that one trade. Not a big deal because the overall gain of it was over $1,100. So with that perspective, with different stuff that you can be doing, I'm not saying invest tons of money. I'm kind of a simple day trader, but I'll show you. I'm not going to go over all the other stocks. If you guys like this information, I'd be happy to go over the other stocks and kind of my strategy, my thinking on it. But I've only had this account since the first part of this year. And if you look here, If you look up here, total gain, it's about $5,300 for the year. Not anything to hit it out of the park, nothing to, write home and brag about, but it's a different strategy that I've been, in a sense, preaching, but sharing with folks that there are other things that you can do. I think, as a lot of you know, especially, excuse me, especially with the stock market stuff, all of this money, it's really, technically it's my money, but it's all self-directed from my IRA account. And I know you guys have heard us say this, but so I can contribute every year to my 401k and my IRA, and I can then direct those funds how I see fit. So I'm able to direct those funds out of my retirement account, put them into, as you see here, this is my E-Trade, online E-Trade account. I can self-direct it in there. When I sold those stocks, the gain goes back into my 401k. So it's tax deferred back then. So I'm not paying income tax on that money because it's continually building within my IRA account, my 401k account. So to learn more about that, I'd be happy to, schedule a consultation. I'll put a link below. Love to talk to you about it. I can refer you to some people that I use. I use a organization, Directed IRA. They're actually, they're based in Utah, and great bunch of people giving me a lot of advice, a lot of strategies on, they don't direct me as far as how to invest, but they show me the structure, how to structure it so that you're not being taxed on the gain. I will be taxed at one point when I'm 59 and a half years old, but the rate will be so much different than the personal income tax rate. So do me a favor, if this was helpful, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, because when I either post videos or if I go live, you'll be notified. So guys, I appreciate it. I'll see you all soon. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd love to communicate and share what I can with you guys. Talk to you soon.